Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 195 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekly edition. Bit of a late start for the weekly edition because I've been busy with other things, but we've been in the shop behind the lathe and busy. If you want to know what this is and how to make one, all you need to do is stay tuned. Yeah, getting a bit of a late start on the weekly edition this week. It's Wednesday evening already, and chances are I'll end up shooting the video and hopefully editing it tomorrow, which puts it out on Thursday, which leads to a cramped weekend edition. But I think I know what I'm going to do for that. So yeah, it's been busy. My students are progressing nicely, but we are getting down to crunch time when things have to be done. So I've been devoting time to that to make sure that their projects are finished by the last day of classes. So we're going to have it so that everybody's done and everybody's proud of their work. That's the way shop class should be. Anyway, well, this is kind of an odd contraption. Really what it is, I have a son and son-in-law that I'd like to make some stuff for Christmas. And they are very much into the barbecue and the smoker, meat preparation avenue. And I really don't know that much about it, but every once in a while I stand in front of the barbecue, and I'm not good at it, but I can do a little bit. But one of the tools that I like to use is this, whatever you call it. And I thought, well, my wife really likes the wooden spatulas and stuff that I've made for her. And I've used them in the kitchen as well. Yes, with her not doing as well these days, I am a little more active in the kitchen and learning a few things. But I really also like the feel and the way the wooden tools work on the stove. So I thought, well, could a guy translate that to the barbecue? So I don't know, like I've never seen anything like this. And, just when you think you've invented something, you find on the internet that there's somebody that's been doing it for 40 years. But I decided to make one of these. And there are some things I really like about it. I love the handle. To me, it feels like a hammer. It's just got that manly feel to it. It's a little bit big, and I burned a couple or 3 lines into it, which looked nice. The one point that I worked on a little bit today yet was this area in here. It needs to, and I think I'm close now. I think this is okay. Maybe the flapper part here, or this, whatever this is called, is a little thin, but I think it'd work. So I'm not sure how it would work on the barbecue, but I'm going to make a few of these and give them out as Christmas presents, and that I can get some feedback, and maybe I'll make one for myself. In fact, this might be mine, and because it's a prototype, and we'll see how they work. But yeah, so basically turning a barbecue tool, and it was a lot of fun to do, and really quite simple because it's kind of a half lathe, half bandsaw and sander type of project. The turning is really quite simple. Cutting the blank is a little bit of a challenge. Well, not really, but I'll show you how to do all that, or how I did it, and we'll go on from there. So without wasting any more time with me just beaking here, let's get into this project. Well, this isn't ready to be in the lathe yet, but I thought this was maybe the simplest way of showing you this. Now, this blank is approximately 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. This is the birch that I buy from Carl Ham in the Hepburn area. Awesome wood supplier. Has come through for me so many times. But you need to turn the handle, here we'll bring this in, along its axis. Okay, so that puts the center way over to one side here. Basically, what I'm allowing for the handle is 1.5 inches here. Let's go to this side. 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches piece. And then when you get to this part here, it changes. Like this has to be cut like this, and you have to turn the handle with this like that. You have to keep this center here until the handle's done. You're happy with everything. Then you can go and cut the bottom and get this right. I found that cutting the width as well, along here, and this makes this 1.5 inches. And again, it's 1.5 inches there. So this piece comes off. Here, get a little better view. This piece comes off, and that piece would be plenty big enough to do another spatula. So it isn't wasted. And then once this is cut off, then I cut this. So loosely, the equivalent would be doing a cabriole leg, where you cut one side of the pattern and then cut the other side. So this is kind of like that. I'm going to try something a little different on this one. On the other one, I put this end on the tailstock side. And I got some pretty good vibration because it's quite off-centered. The RPM of the lathe, I had a hard time getting past. I think I turned it mostly at about 1,300. But I'm going to put it in the headstock end this time and see if that makes a difference. And I'll go to the bandsaw and cut this blank, and then we'll get on the lathe and we'll start turning. And I'm at the bandsaw. I'm just going to cut this freehand. It isn't that fussy that it's a perfect cut. I'm at my 14-inch bandsaw with a 6-inch riser kit in it. Uses a 105-inch blade, and I have a 6 TPI. Yeah, that's about it. So just a good general purpose blade for my students as well. Here we go. I could have made a corner, but this is easier. And did I mark it on the right side? That's one thing about the bandsaw that makes it a bit more challenging to use. Okay, so can I? Oh yeah, piece of cake. Okay, here we go again. Definitely a spatula hiding in there. Okay, so that takes care of the one cut. Now I have to do the other cut. And unfortunately, I cut my lines off. And I guess, yeah, we're going to do that. Give me a minute. I'm going to tape this up and we're going to cut it just like a cabriole leg. Okay, here we go. We're just going to put the pattern on. There we go. Boy, I haven't done that for a while. Feels kind of good. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it this way. And I've tried to leave myself a little bit of extra wood so that I can turn it to the size I want and not have to pinch or cut corners at the end. So here we go. I like to keep the scraps too. And I still have the scraps from the first one I cut so that I can use them to compare when I do my blank. So let's cut the other side. And we have a blank. I guess cutting it that way, I kind of waste this piece. I'll figure out what to do with that yet. There's got to be some project hiding in there that I can use, and but that way I didn't have to retransfer the lines, which I could have easily done, but I didn't. So now we have a blank that is ready for the lathe. So let's go back there and make a handle. Well, it's in the lathe between centers, and it's definitely an improvement putting the mass at the headstock end. I know better. I should have done that with the first one. But I'm just going to turn my lathe on and kind of let you see what it's like. Now that's about 600 RPM, a little more. There's 1,000. Starting to vibrate more at about 1250. So until I get it round, I'll stay at about 1,000. Now, when we do a turning class or there's club turners here, there's always a big discussion between RPM, which is what your lathe is telling you, and actual surface feet per minute, which is what happens when you're turning. So there is a big difference between the two, but I find I like to communicate in RPM because that seems to be a number people kind of understand. And it's not that you're basing your thing or your knowledge on that RPM, but it's a comparative measure. So you know that 800 RPM is slower than 1200, and 1200 is slower than 1500, and vice versa. So it's just a guide. It's not like if you really want to get technical, yeah, then you got to calculate surface feet per minute. And with wood turning, that's not as critical as in machining. When I'm on the metal lathe, that's something I have to reacquaint myself with. But anyway, enough talk. Let's get to this. I'm going to use my P&N spindle roughing gouge, and you could use the roughing gouge, you can use a skew, you can use a half-inch spindle gouge. The opportunities are endless. But the first thing you need to do is make it round. So let's do that. We're going to turn up to about here. I'm going to try my lights. Oh, that's different. I wonder what that does to camera. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't want to mess up the camera. And when you're doing this, just watching the horizon up here to see how much you're taking off and what you're taking off. Is it coming off in chips and curls? Or are you making sawdust? Okay, well, then I'm going to go the other way a little bit. It's also good, especially when you're making stuff round. Practice going left-handed as well. Practice turning both ways. Now, I want this just barely round. Okay, let's check that out. No, we're not quite there yet. Got a little ways to go. Okay, let's do it. I'll go back to right-handed. Maybe pick up the pace a little bit. Close. A little bit of vibration there. Oh, there we go. I think that's good. Okay, now we're going to move the tool rest to something like that. These longer handles that I made on my lathe, what a joy to use. That was probably the single best modification that I've ever done, because now you just put a little bit of pressure on, but you have to be careful that now that you don't overdo things, because you've got such a mechanical advantage now that you didn't have before. Okay, this is a little bit tricky here. I'm going to do this with the roughing gouge, but you might want to switch to a spindle gouge or a detail gouge to get in that cut. But we're going to do it this way. Oops, wrong switch. My relay is still out on this side. And watch your knuckles, because you've got a piece swinging there that I'm actually surprised how good a job this tool does at cutting in like that. It's really not bad at all. And it'll get better as I get further into the cut. I can't stress enough, you've really got to watch in this area, because you've got a lot of mass spinning there. And yeah, it's a small between centers project, but it'd wrap your knuckles pretty doggone good. And you don't want that. And I'm always heading from the outside to the inside. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, it's a little flat there yet. That's coming really nicely. That'll sand out really good. Yep, it's coming. Okay, let's get this completely around. I don't think that's it yet, but I want to, oh yeah, I got a little bit there yet. And a little bit on top. So, a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to go slow because I don't want to overshoot this. It's still got to go down more here yet. Yeah, we're getting there. It's coming. And I took the liberty of setting up. Yeah, we're pretty much where I want to be. So now it doesn't have to be exactly like the other one, because I'm not giving away a set. Nobody will ever know, but okay, let's try that. Okay, I think that's going to do it. All right, I'm going to put the spindle roughing gouge away for a bit, and And I bet I don't have a pencil here. Okay, well, I'm going to have to go get a pencil, so I'll be right back. Well, I'm back. You'd think with all the time I spend in the shop, I would realize the importance of carrying a pencil. Okay, so that's the end of my piece. Well, I'm going to give myself a little extra. And I'm going to size the center and then slope it either way. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to transfer these lines. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to double check the size in the middle. It's a little extra. Yeah, it's a bit. So I'm going to just take a parting tool and just part down to that dimension. Oops, I keep going for the wrong switch. And that's lovely vibration. Perfect. That is good. And then I'm going to size it for the other end. Now, I didn't use anything like this when I turned this initially. I did this all by eye. But now that I have a prototype, I may as well use it. And the dimensions are pretty good. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so that's got to be close. A lot of people do this with the lathe running, but I don't know. I've never done that. I just don't trust it, I guess. It's just me. If you do it and it works for you, keep doing it. Okay, that's enough for now. It doesn't quite go on, but that gives me a little bit of leeway so that if things are, I have a little, I can go below that a little bit if I need to. Why do I do that? Okay, yeah, this is a bit time consuming. Oh, and it's not wide enough. I need to grind my caliper so it fits in a. That'll do. Okay, and while I'm at it, I may as well do the end just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I think we're ready to start turning. And I think what I'm going to do first is start making the beads. So, okay, we're going to start at this end. And I have my detail gouge for this, but a spindle roughing gouge, or sorry, spindle gouge would work just fine. Let's give it a bit more speed. Oh, wrong dial. It's about 1200. Let's try that. Remember to rub that bevel. There is a slight vibration in the lathe now. And I like leaving a little bit of extra wood in my diameter here because that way it gives me a little bit of chance to get the bead shaped really nicely. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's a little bit jumpy. Yeah, I could live with that. Yeah, it's a little bit of vibration here. There we go. That's one bead done. Yep, that'll be good. Let's slide over. Do the other one. I bet I didn't sharpen this thing. I'm just going to quickly hone this. I think of all the tools I used to turn the first one, this is the only one I didn't sharpen, and I should have. It's not the best. It's not bad, but it's not what it should be. Oops. Okay, we'll take that out. That's what happens when you have your, but see that, I've got one of these toothless drives in, and that's what happens. This was no big deal at all. Now I am just going to tighten up a little bit, and maybe I will leave that in after all. Okay, let's try that again. This is a little further away. It's a little trickier. But I'm rubbing that bevel, finding the edge, and going a little too deep. Okay, yeah, this is gonna work. I don't like the tool rest as far away as it is right now, but this is gonna work. Shoot. Okay, well, I think I hate that when that happens, but I was pretty lucky that nothing really happened there. Okay, we're just gonna smooth that out a little bit. I might just leave that in, you never know. Even the best, and I'm not one of those, but I've been in demonstrations where some of the best turners I know have made mistakes like that. So there, that's not looking too bad. I'm sure the hamburgers will be okay with this. There we go. Okay. Now, oh, I've got to move the tool rest anyway. Okay. Now I'm going to use the skew. We're going to make a curve like that, okay? And the high point's going to be there. I'm getting some vibration. I did yesterday as well when I turned the prototype. This is a really good project to explore using a number of different tools. And I like the skew for this. I'm really choked up on my skew. I like turning that way. and the skew is tucked in my hip. Okay, now I'm more or less to the diameters I want. I just want to do some finishing, and I might just use my hand as a bit of a steady rest. Ouch, that burns. And just a gentle, light touch. Okay, I think that's good for now. It's not perfect, but we're going to get the overall shape, and then we're going to do some finishing cuts and maybe a little bit of sanding. I have to get a little better in here yet because some of that you'll see, but it's coming along nicely. There, that handle, I love it. Yeah, and it is. I'm going to actually turn the speed down a little bit. I'm tired of the vibration. There we go. That's not bad. Okay, here we go again. And look at this. Lefties in action. I guess I just got tired of doing this. It's so much easier when I can stand like this and just use the tool left-handed. If you have never done any left-hand turning, I'd encourage you to try it. Learn how to do it. It's not hard. Shoot, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I am just an average turner. It is going a little slower now than I'd like, but what you can't see is what I'm doing with my right hand. I am pushing down on the tool rest and guiding the speed of the tool with my index finger, or what's left of it. When things start to shake, I really press the tool down into the rest really hard. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little too slow. Yeah, but then I got that vibration. Oh well. It seems to be coming off nicely. Notice where I'm cutting. Hopefully you can see that. And then when I get too low on the tool, it wants to jump a little bit. But then all I do is rotate up like that and transfer the cut a little higher up onto the edge. But with a skew, you never want to be cutting on the uphill side or on the upside. Now we're getting it. It's just another tool. Now I'm going to blend this a little bit. That's not quite good, but I don't know if you noticed, but I am definitely more competent with my right hand turning. But I think turning left-handed is a good skill to have. Okay, yeah, I noticed things were coming off kind of funny here. The grain is a little bit crossed here. I think I'm going to go maybe one pass with the skew yet, And then I'm going to finish this off, and then we're going to go to the 100 grit gouge, and we're going to do a little bit of sanding and get this nice. It's pretty good now already. Ooh, that's nice. I'm going to create a little bit of a cardinal sin here. I'm going to go uphill a little bit. There's some funny grain here. That for the sake of speed, it might be better just to sand it because I'm there. Okay. And yeah, there we go. The lever, the power of the lever. It is really, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of washboard from the wobble in the spindle. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The vibration in the handle here. Okay. Now, I think that's good. I'm going to sand that yet. It's close. And then now I'm going to work on this here. Come on. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that I don't have anything weird. And I need to look at that transition here. Okay, that's a little longer already, but that's okay. Like I say, they don't have to be identical. Okay, and I did do this and it cleared. Okay, so whoops. Okay, that's pretty doggone good. I'm going to sand that off to there. That is, I think, quite close to the other one. Boy, I could live with that. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the turning. So I'm going to move my tool rest out of the way so I can safely sand, get all the tools off the bed of the lathe, and I'm going to start with 100 grit paper, and I'm just going to sand at the speed that I was turning at. There's so many different theories out there about sanding. Some say you should speed up the lathe. Some say you should slow down the lathe. I don't know. I've heard it all. And I've never had any problems with what I do. So the only thing that I do when I sand on this edge here, because if something happens, the motion is down and away from me. I read that in an old textbook somewhere and it just stuck. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll give it a little more. I guess this is kind of a true woodworking project because I'm just about finished with the lathe part of this project. And then we'll use the bandsaw and the sanders. And in my shop, it would be a grade 8 level project. When you sand air like this, be very careful. That can be dangerous. Okay, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Let's get some 180 grit. I keep my sandpaper in boxes like this. These are from the dollar store. And I fold it in threes. And then my students, when they're turning, they can just come and help themselves to good paper. This is 180 grit. This is as far as I'm going to sand this. I don't think there's any need to go further than this on a barbecue tool. This will probably get, I haven't even thought much about it yet, but I would think uh, mineral oil for finish, I would guess. And this handle has to feel good. You know, you could do all kinds of things. You could put some beads on here, but I really like the feel of this handle. I don't know why. It's very simple, but I love the way it feels. Okay, so we're just about done. I'd say I'm done with sanding for now. And where did it go? Um, my little burning tool here. What I went to get is one of these little arborite samples. I use these to burn at times. I have a wire for burning too, but I tend to burn with these when I'm working with kids, and it's, I think, a little safer, but that's totally up to you. If you burn with a wire, there are safe ways of doing everything. Okay, I'm going to put a burn line here, here, and here. Now, let's see if we can up the speed just a little bit, and I just put it on the tool rest and push it in. Now the line gets a little wider, but I like it. It's okay. And this is just another way of doing it. But yeah, this handle, I can't get over how nice that is. It just takes such a little bit of pressure. Okay, are we still good here? Yes, we are. Okay, and then we'll go on to a new part here. There we go. I like that. And the last one. Okay, so we're just about there. All I need to do now is take this off because the turning part of this project is done. Okay. Yeah, that feels nice. That feels really nice. I like it. It just, to me, it's so masculine. It's just a good grip on it. Ah, the way it should be. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit off the end here. And let's see what kind of speed we have. I'll need my detail gouge for this. Okay, and we're just going to carefully, I'm going a little too slow. Rubbing the bevel, just like chopping down a tree. Well, okay, no, it isn't, but it sounded good. Okay, and it's starting to wobble. That's as far as I'm going to take it. All right. So the turning part of this is done. And we're going to move on to the bandsaw and the sander. But I think that's going to be tomorrow. Okay, well, it is the next day. I'm feeling a little bit more rested than I was when I was turning this yesterday. And we're ready to start the bandsaw work. Now, this prototype, it's pretty close to what I want, but I might make some subtle changes on the next one. Okay, I've drawn the lines, and the angle there is basically a copy of the tool that I brought in here and copied the angle from this or to this one as well. So that angle is about the same as the bought utensil that I used as a pattern. Now, before I cut this, I want to make sure that this is square. I didn't prepare the stock at all before I started turning, so there's no guarantee that this is going to cut straight and square, but it is, luckily it is, so that's good. Always nice to carry a little square with you. I've also left this thicker than I need to be because I'll take off that material with the disc sander most likely, and I like to have a little extra work with. So let's make these two cuts. So we're going to cut here and here. And this is actually going to go back to this feature here eventually. And this will come and also kind of dish into that feature. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll make it clear a little later. All right, here we go. Okay, and now we're going to cut this one. Yeah, in hindsight, I maybe should have cut this one first because I would have had the block to support this, but I did okay, so it's all good. And I think I'm just going to cut that lip off a little bit yet. Yeah, just a bit. There we go. That's a rough cut on the bandsaw now. I have to deal with that yet too. In fact, maybe I'll just do that right away as well. There. There. Now I can hand sand this. And yes, we're done in the lathe for sure now because I got rid of this center. So anyway, we'll meet you at the disc sander. Well, one thing I didn't show you is I cleaned the disc before I'm going to start sanding. And on the disc sander, we're going to take and just sand the bottom flat. I want the bottom to end about there when I'm finished, so that's what I'm shooting for. Hopefully I'll hit that. Okay, well, I'm not going to run the dust collection because of the noise for shooting video, but this is all hooked up and it actually works pretty good. So here we go. Just want to make sure it's flat. Looks pretty good. And I'm right where I want to be. So I think we're done with the disc sander. Okay, now we're going to have a little bit more work and we're going to head over next door here to the oscillating spindle sander. So I'm just going to check my camera, see if that can work, and we'll get back to you. And we're at the oscillating spindle sander here, and my goal now is to shape this till about where my thumb is, or my finger now, right about there, and blend this into a smooth flat surface or a smooth elliptical surface. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to show you all of this because this is going to take me a little bit of time. So we'll show you a bit. We'll get started. Again, dust collection would be great. That's coming nicely. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm back to where I want it to be here. I've got to thin this out a little bit, but I think I'll do that off camera because sanding is sanding. So I'll show you this when I'm ready to go back to the disc sander and put the angle on the front. Well, I basically have it rough shaped. Sanding that on the sanding it on the oscillating spindle sander, I got a little bit of a wave effect in here that I want to get rid of yet. And I think what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take a random orbital sander and just sand gently. This curve is perfect. This back is nice. It's nice and flat. I don't know if that really matters, but it matters to me. And I think it's really, really got a good, there's potential here. I need to do some finish sanding, and I'm going to put a little bit of an angle on. I'm right-handed, so I like the angle to come this way or this way, I guess. And I don't know if you're left-handed, if you'd want it the opposite, probably. One thing I didn't do on this one is drill holes in it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. I guess I could do that, but what I should have done is I should have done that before I sanded it. So this one may be solid like this. Who knows? I may do one with holes eventually. Not sure if that's a big thing or not, but I also tried to leave this a little bit thicker because with barbecue flame, I'm not sure how this will last, but a little thicker wood I think would be better than having it paper thin. So I'm just going to put a little bit of an angle on here, and then we're going to do some hand sanding and maybe a little bit of random orbital, but I don't know if I'll show you that. And we'll finish this off. So let's get at it. I just want a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Perfect. I like it. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm going to show you. We're going to close this video off yet. I'm going to do a little bit of sanding off camera and kind of show you what it looks like completely done. So we're close to being done. Well, here it is. The only thing I have left to do yet is put the mineral oil on them. I think I'm going to soak them up really good. I'm not sure how mineral oil reacts with barbecue flames, so you might have a torch here instead of a tool. But anyway, so I need to make another one of these. I was thinking of using this one, but you know what? I think this is going to be mine. On the prototype, this is just a bit too thin. It took me a little while, a little too long to figure out exactly what I was doing and or what I was going to do. But other than that, it's pretty good. It's very similar to the one I really like. Yeah, you don't usually see barbecue tools made exclusively from wood. Usually there's some piece of metal that's riveted onto the end or bolted onto the end somehow. So I have no idea whether these are going to work good or not. I suspect they will. How long they will last, well, that's another story. I mean, this is good Saskatchewan birch, and we'll put some mineral oil on. Not that I'm a big fan of mineral oil, but the thing I like about mineral oil is everybody has it, and you can just keep refreshing the finish on it. So it's not like you have to go someplace and buy some special finish to work with this. So anyway, hopefully it doesn't spontaneously combust. But yeah, I was going to maybe give this one as a gift, but I think this one's going to be mine because I'm just not quite happy with the spatula part. So I'll make another one, and we'll put these in a stocking for my kids, and hopefully they'll enjoy them come when they're barbecuing after Christmas. And I don't have to worry about about giving away their Christmas presents because I doubt any of them are watching anyway. So, but that's another story. So there we go. We finished. Nice to turn a prototype if you have time. This worked out well. As far as time goes, I pretty much did this in real time. There were a few things like the oscillating spindle sander I just showed you a portion of. I probably spent another 10 minutes there without the camera running. And the random orbital sander to get this nice and flat, which it really did. I spent another 10 minutes at the other end of the shop sanding this, and then probably about 5 minutes of general hand sanding on this part here. So I did it with 100 grit. I shaped a little bit, rounded the edges, and then I finished it all with 180. And this I also sanded to 180. So I don't know, for a barbecue tool, 180 grit sanding I think is plenty. And then I did the burn lines on the lathe too. Oh, I have to sand the end yet. I haven't done that. But other than that, like I said, this is ready for finish. And I don't think I'm going to show you that. So anyway, we're done. So yeah, if you enjoyed this content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We are getting close to 700 subscribers, so we're slowly getting to those milestones. Haven't decided yet for sure what will happen at the 1,000 subscriber mark. There might be, I have a cool idea. It's a little expensive to pull off, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. But if I would pull the trigger on it, it would be a fantastic giveaway. Anyway, so with that in mind, take care. Have a good rest of the week. It's Thursday here today, and the weekend edition will probably be shot tomorrow. So yeah, one of these weeks where I have my weekly edition and my weekend edition kind of pushed together. So anyway, take care. Have a good rest of the week, and we will see you on the weekend edition.